The sky of Tar-Sizanine was dark red. Thick black clouds floated slowly above sharp mountains. The wind carried the smell of burned metal and dust. Nothing moved, nothing lived. But deep inside a broken ship, under the rocky ground, someone was still. Alive. Her name was Kayla Trent. She was 17 when the human science ship Hope Seeker landed here. That was 9 years ago. She was the only one left now. The mission was peaceful. Her ship had come to study the planet's air, rocks, and plants. Kayla came along with her parents, both scientists. There were 15 people in total. Then, on the third night they came. Not with words. Not with warning. The aliens attacked like shadows, killed everyone fast and without mercy. Kayla watched her mother fall. She saw her father scream as something pulled him into the dark. She ran, she hid, and she never stopped hiding. Now Kayla was 26. Her hair had turned wild and long. Her body was thin but strong. She had no mirror, but she knew her face had changed. Not just from age, from pain. She had made a home inside the wreck of the old ship. Most of it was buried, but a few rooms still worked. A small light, an old food printer, and a broken AI system that only spoke in short, glitchy sentences. Alert. Power. Low. I should have learned to ignore it. Every day she climbed out through the tunnels. She hunted small lizards, collected water from steam vents, and searched for old tech from the dead aliens. She had found their weapons, their maps, even pieces of their language. She had learned one word they used often, Zukel. It meant death that walks. She was the Zukel now. That morning, Kayla sat in silence, sharpening a knife made from alien bone. Her eyes looked at a screen showing the sky. Something was blinking small, far above the clouds. A ship, not Zarkun, it's not alien. Human. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. No. She just stood up and grabbed her weapons. She knew they weren't here for rescue. The ship landed miles away. Kayla followed fast and silent, like an animal. She reached the edge of a cliff and looked down. 4 armored soldiers stepped out of the ship. Their armor had earth markings, but they looked careful, not friendly. One of them held a scanner. He pointed toward the valley. Something's down there, he said. A heat source. Maybe a survivor. Another man laughed. After 9 years? Impossible. Kayla narrowed her eyes. They didn't come to help. They came to clean up. She remembered something her father once said. Sometimes silence is not an accident. It's a choice. Kayla waited until night, then she moved. One soldier went missing first. The others found only his helmet. Then their ship's engine exploded. Kayla had placed a stolen alien bomb inside the vent. The fire lit the night sky. The last 2 soldiers ran, but she was faster. They never saw her face, only a flash of her. Shadow, a whisper in the wind, and the message she left behind scratched into metal with her knife. I survived, and I remember everything. Back inside her hideout, Kayla turned on the weak radio. Static, silence, then a voice. This is High Command. We lost contact with Team Echo on Tar-Sizanine. No signs of life expected. Mission failed. Kayla stared at the speaker. She didn't speak, didn't cry. Instead, she opened an old drawer. Inside was a map. Routes, names of alien bases, all taken from Zarkun tech. It's all studied for years. She picked up a small Earth flag patch. Her father's. She tied it to her arm. She was done hiding. The galaxy had forgotten her. But Kayla hadn't forgotten the galaxy, and she was coming. High above the stars, a silent Zarkun research station floated around a dead moon. It had no windows, no lights. Only machines and soldiers lived there. It was a secret place, hidden from all star maps. But now it was burning. Fire spread from room to room. Explosions shook the metal walls. Zarkun guards screamed in panic as doors failed and oxygen systems shut down. The last sound heard before total silence was a human voice recorded. Cold and clear. This is for Tar-Sizanine, I remember. The next morning, the Galactic Union received a message. No name. No face. Just a single image sent across hidden channels. It showed the symbol of Earth's old flag, scratched into a black Zarkun wall. Below it, in human text, "The ghost of Terra is real." Far from there, inside a cold cave system on Tarsis-9, Kayla stood over a dusty table filled with broken tech. Blue lights blinked slowly from alien machines. She worked fast, her fingers moving like she was born for it. The item in front of her was dangerous. It was called the kill code. She had stolen it from the dead alien mind's small computer brains, taken from broken Zarkun ships. Each piece held part of the puzzle. For years, Kayla studied their language, symbols, and code systems. Now she had unlocked it. The kill code was a virus. Once released, it could turn every Zarkun AI into a weapon against itself. Their ships, their stations, their factories, all of it could be controlled or destroyed with one key. Kayla had that key now. Elsewhere in the galaxy, it's inside a human military warship called the Titan's Hand. Captain Dremaro watched the same message on a screen. He stared in silence. Knew that voice, that symbol, that name. It's her, he whispered. She's alive. His second in command looked confused. Sir? You mean Kayla Trent? But she died years ago. Dre shook his head. No, she survived. And now she's doing what we should have done years ago. He turned off the screen and stood up. Prepare the ship. We're going to Tar. His knee back on the planet, Kayla finished her work. She had no army, no support. But she had knowledge. And knowledge was power. She looked at her list. Target 1. Zarkun Listening Post. Moon Sigma Target 2. AI. Core Hub Sector 3. Delta Target 3. Human Secret Base. Unknown location, yes, she remembered. Not just the aliens. The humans, too. The ones who made the deal to leave her behind. Her own leaders had traded her life to avoid war. But she didn't die. She adapted. And now she was changing the game. Kayla stood outside her old ship, watching. The stars, she wore a black cloak stitched from old alien armor. Her face was half covered with a mask. Her eyes were sharp, full of fire and memory. Suddenly the sky lit up. Another ship, small, fast, not Zarkun, it's not Union. Smugglers, she raised her hand and aimed a small pulse flare into the sky. It was a signal one she had designed. Secret. Code that the ship slowed and landed. The door opened and 3 strange figures stepped out. A woman with metal arms, a child with glowing eyes, and a tall man with a strange smile. You must be the ghost, the metal-armed woman said. Kayla nodded. I need a ride, she said quietly. And I pay in death, the man laughed. Welcome. Aboard. As the ship rose into the sky, Kayla stared down at the world that had been her prison for so long. Tarsis-9 had taken everything from her. Now she would take everything from those who caused it, one system at a time. The small smuggler ship moved through deep space, quiet like a ghost. Inside, Kayla sat on the floor of her private room, legs crossed, eyes closed. In front of her, a hologram showed a list of names people from her past. Names of officers, commanders and leaders. One name blinked red. Admiral Sarenlock, the man who gave the order to leave Hopeseeker behind on Tarsis-9. Kayla didn't speak. She only stared at the name. She had waited 9 years for this moment. Now silence would no longer protect them. In a star system called Virex, the Zarkun Empire was already nervous. 3 of their secret bases had gone dark. No alarms, no messages. Only wreckage, burned symbols, and messages left in human script. I remember. I survived. You created me. Zarkun leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. They whispered one word again and again, Zukel. The death that walks, no. One had ever escaped their killing fields before, until now. Back on the smuggler ship, Kayla walked into the cockpit.
Ow.
The crew, Juno, the woman with metal arms. The glowing-eyed boy and Thresh, the quiet pilot, watched her with curiosity. Where to next? Thresh asked. Kayla pointed at the map. Sector 7, Earth-controlled space. There's a relay base there. I need to send a message. Juno frowned. Risky. That area's full of Union ships. Kella's voice was cold. Good. Let them see me. In Sector 7, deep inside a hidden human relay base, officers sat. Watching their screens, suddenly, the entire system shut down. Red lights flashed. Panic spread. Then the screen lit up with a video. It showed Keela's face. Her voice was calm, but strong. 9 years ago you left us. You made a deal with monsters. You chose silence instead of justice. I survived, and I remember everything. Screen went black. For a moment, no one moved. Then the message began to spread across the galaxy, shared by smugglers, rebels, and even some soldiers. Whispers of the ghost of Terra grew louder. Inside the ship, Kayla sat quietly. Kai, the boy, looked at her. Are you going to start a war? Kayla looked at him. No, she said. The war already started. I'm just making sure no one forgets it again. Meanwhile, Captain Dre Morrow had returned to Earth. He stood in front of a group of high-ranking leaders. Screens behind them showed Kella's message. One general spoke, angry. She's a terrorist now. She's attacking our allies, exposing secrets. Dre raised his hand. She's not wrong. Everyone went silent. You left her behind, he said, and now she's fighting alone because we didn't stand beside her. The room filled with whispers. Find her, the Admiral ordered. Stop her before she pulls the galaxy into flames. Back in space, the smuggler ship arrived near an old mining colony. It was abandoned now, used only by pirates and black market traders. Kayla met with an old contact, a hacker named Tay Singh, who had once worked for Earth's spy agency. Tezen looked surprised to see her. They said you were dead. Kayla smiled slightly. A lot of people did. She handed him a small chip. Can you break this open? Taesung looked at it. Eyes widened. This is Zarkun data. Military stuff. How did you even get this? That's not your concern, Kayla said. Can you do it or not? He nodded slowly. It'll take time. Kayla turned to leave. You have 2 days. Later that night, she sat on a rooftop, staring at the stars. Juno joined her. Keep going, Juno asked. You've made your point? The galaxy's listening now? Kayla shook her head. Listening isn't enough. They need to feel what I felt. Alone, forgotten, hunted. She looked up. It's only then will they understand the price of silence. Across the stars, fear was spreading. But so was something else. Hope. Small groups of rebels, broken colonies. And ex-soldiers began wearing a new symbol, a patch of Earth's flag marked with a single word, survivor. Kayla had become more than a ghost. She had become a spark. And the fire was only beginning. The moon above Zarkun Colony X5 was large, white, and quiet. It had a small base for energy mining, a few guards, a simple AI core. Nothing special until it exploded. From far away, a blue light appeared in the sky. Then came the fire. Then the moon itself broke apart like glass. Pieces rained down on the Zarkun colony below. Buildings shattered. Ships melted in the heat. Soldiers ran, but there was nowhere to go. From the smoke, a message rose in the sky made from hacked signal lights. This is justice, not revenge. KT. The news spread like wildfire. Videos of the burning moon hit every network. People across the galaxy watched in silence. Some were afraid. Others smiled for the first time in years. The ghost of Terra had struck again. On a ship far from the blast. Kayla sat in front of a small screen. She watched the destruction with no joy, no regret. Her hands were steady, her heart calm. Juno walked in behind her. That moon was connected to 100 colonies, Juno said quietly. You hit them where it hurts. Kayla nodded. Now they'll understand what pain feels like. Kay, the glowing-eyed boy, peeked from the hallway. What about the people on the ground? Some of them weren't soldiers. Kayla didn't turn. War doesn't wait for fairness, she said. They made me live alone on a dead world. Warned them. They didn't listen. Meanwhile, inside a hidden Earth base, Captain Draymara watched the same footage. He looked tired, angry. He turned to Admiral Sarenlock. You said she was dead. You promised she couldn't return. Locke didn't answer. His face was pale. You left her there, Dray said. And now she's doing what we couldn't. Locke slammed his fist on the table. She's a criminal now. We must stop her. Dray's voice was calm. You're not afraid of her crimes. You're afraid of her truth. On the Outer Rim, in a place called Jacker's Ring, Kayla met a new group of fighters or bull miners, escaped slaves, and broken soldiers. They had seen her messages. They wanted to fight. They called her Commander Kayla, though she never asked for the title. She stood before them, wearing her black armor and Earth flag. I'm not here to save you, she said. I'm here to remind the galaxy that humans do not break. They may forget us, they may leave us behind, but we rise, we return, and we remember. The crowd stood in silence. Then they raised their fists. We remember. Kayla smiled just a little. For the first time in 9 years, she wasn't alone. Later, that night, she sat alone near the edge of the base looking at the stars. Kay sat beside her. Did you always know you'd come back? He asked. Kayla shook her head. No. I thought I'd die on Tarsize 9, cold, forgotten. She looked at the stars again, but the silence made me angry. I promised myself if I got out, I'd make them all hear me. Kay leaned his head against her shoulder. They hear you now, in the Zarkun High Council. Panic grew. The burning moon wasn't just a target hit, was a symbol of Zarkun's strength. And now it was gone. A Zarkun warlord slammed his clawed hand on the table. This human ghost is tearing us apart. How is she doing this? One advisor spoke carefully. She studied us. She knows our weak points. She has no fear. That makes her dangerous. Another whispered. It's not just her anymore. She's building a following. The council voted to place her name on the Universal Kill List, KAELA. Trent. Target 1. Back on Kella's ship, Tessing the hacker returned with news. The kill code is ready, he said. You can now control any Zarkun. AI ship within signal range, even their war cruisers. Kayla stood slowly. Good. I know which one I'll take first. She pointed at a red dot on the star map. The Eye of Zarak, a Zarkun warship that once fired on Hopeseeker. It's the one that killed her parents. It would be her next message. Not just for the Zarkun, but for Earth. Because Kayla was no longer just a survivor. She was the storm. A black ship moved through space without sound, like a shadow swimming in the dark. No ID code, no lights, no name. But inside, Kayla Trent stood at the center, watching a holomap spin slowly in front of her. Her target, the Eye of Zark. A Zarkun dreadnought. A ship the size of a city, heavily armed, protected by AI defenses. It had destroyed her ship 9 years ago. It had killed her parents. Now, Kayla would take it for herself, but she couldn't do it alone. She sent a signal short, hidden in pirate channels. A message known only to those who walked between law and war, looking for ghosts. Meet at Shadow. Doc 9, bring hate, leave fear. 2 days later, they came. At the edge of a dying star system, Shadow Doc 9 floated inside an asteroid. It was dark, dusty, and full of dangerous people. It's the kind of place where soldiers became smugglers and spies became traitors. Kayla walked into the meeting room wearing her black cloak. A pistol on one hip, a blade on the other. 6 people were waiting. A silent sniper named Vorn with a steel eye. 2 twin hackers, Lela and Knox, who talked in whispers and laughed too much. A former Zarkun engineer with no tongue. A human bounty. Hunter Rage, who had once hunted her, now here to join her. And a cyborg woman with glowing red wires. Kayla had saved her from a slave ship long ago. Her name was Ash. Ash spoke first. You called. We came. What do you want? I looked at all of them. I want the Eye of Zarak. And I want the galaxy to watch me take it. There was silence. Then, Rage laughed. Stealing a dreadnought? You really are crazy. Kella's face didn't change. Not stealing. Taking back. That ship killed my crew. Burned my life. It's time to turn their weapon against them. The sniper Vorn nodded. I'm in. One by one, they agreed. She had no army. But she had allies in the shadows. People with nothing left to lose, sometimes. Those were the most dangerous kind. The plan was bold. Kayla had built a fake cargo signal to lure the Eye of Zarek close to a nebula where sensors would fail. Inside the nebula, her team would board, hack the ship's AI using the kill code, and take control from the inside. One mistake, they'd all die. But Kayla had lived in death for 9 years. She wasn't afraid of it anymore. As they approached the nebula, her crew prepared. Vorn cleaned his rifle in silence. The twins whispered to the ship's computers, smiling like devils. Ash stood by the power core, humming a war tune. Kayla sat alone, looking at an old photograph of her parents. It was the only thing she had left from the past. The edges were burned. The smiles faded. But the memory was sharp. The moment came. The Eye of Zarek arrived. Just as planned, responding to the fake cargo signal, Kella's ship launched fast. Small, almost invisible in the gas cloud. They landed on the dreadnought. S-belly magnetic locks holding them tight. Then they cut inside. The hallways were dark, cold, full of machines. Kayla led the way. The old Zarkun engineer pointed at a panel. The twins plugged in the kill code. Sparks flew. Lights blinked red dots suddenly. The ship shook. We have control of the outer doors, Neela shouted. But the AI is fighting back, Knox warned. It's learning. Kayla didn't wait. Ran down the hallway to the command core. Rage followed, guns blazing. Inside the control room, a Zarkun captain waited. He looked shocked to see her. Siu Sink Towel. She answered with a bullet to the head. Then she plugged the kill code directly into the core. The ship screamed. Lights went white, then dead. Then still, then the ship obeyed. Kayla stood on the bridge of the Eye of Zarek, her face lit by control screens. The ship was hers. She opened a signal to the galaxy broadcast wide. This ship killed my family, burned my world, left me in silence. Now it belongs to me. She turned the camera to show the Earth's flag on her shoulder. This is for every voice you tried to erase. We remember. We are coming. Ack! Across the stars, people watched in awe. Slaves cheered. Soldiers saluted. The Zarkun began to panic. From the shadows, Kayla had risen. Now, she had a ship built for war, and the galaxy was starting to realize something terrible. The ghost of Terra was not alone anymore. The Eye of Zarek now flew under human control, but it still looked like a monster. Its long body carried deadly weapons, and its black surface reflected no light. The galaxy had seen Kayla steal it. Some feared her. Others began to follow her, but Kayla wasn't finished. She had one more place to visit before the real war began Earth. Not for revenge, not for peace, but for truth. Inside the command room, Ash watched Kayla prepare a hidden file. The room was quiet, except for the hum of the engines. You really think they'll listen? Ash asked. Kayla didn't look up. They won't have a choice. On Earth, inside the high-security dome of Union Command, Admiral Sarenlock stood. In front of a large screen, their high officer sat around him. A message from Kayla had just arrived. It wasn't a threat, it was a file. And when they opened it, the room froze. This can't be real, one general whispered. It was a voice recording from 9 years ago, a meeting between Admiral Locke and a Zarkun ambassador. The voices were clear. You can take the ship. Leave one alive if you want. Cannot risk war now. One ship. One girl. No one will care. Kayla had found the truth, and now everyone knew it. Within hours, her message spread across the galaxy. News channels played the recording. Soldiers who once called her a terrorist now stayed silent. Colonists demanded answers. Union flags were torn down on rebel worlds, and at the center of it all, one question was asked: why was Kayla Trent left to die? Captain Dre Morrow sat in his ship, staring at the screen. His hands shook with rage. He had trusted the leaders, fought for them, believed in them. But now he knew the truth. He opened a channel and sent a message to Kayla. "I'm sorry for everything. If you still fight, let me fight beside you." Kayla read the message and paused. Dre had once been her friend. Maybe more. He had been on the Hope Seeker, but was called back to Earth just before the crash. He had always believed she was dead. Now he wanted to stand beside her again. She replied with only 2 words: "Meet me." They met on a broken moon called Greyfall, far from Earth. Kayla stood on one side of a small landing pad. Dre stepped out of his ship and walked slowly toward her. He stopped just a few feet away. "You've changed," he said. Kayla's voice was quiet. "I had to." "So did I," Dre said, "but not fast enough." There was a pause. Then Kayla said, "They left me to die. My parents, my team, my future, all gone." Dre looked down. "And I let myself believe their lies." Kayla nodded. "And helped me destroy them." Meanwhile, inside Earth's council chambers, chaos ruled. Protests broke out in major cities. Soldiers laid down their arms. Whispers of the ghost of Terra filled the streets. Admiral Locke stood alone at the center of it all, his face cold, but his hands shaking. "She can't control the people," he said. But he was wrong. Kayla wasn't controlling anyone. She was waking them up, back on the Eye of Zarek. Kayla sat with her team Ash, the twins, Vorn Rage, and now Captain Dre. Each of them had been broken, lost, betrayed. But now they were together, and Kayla had a new plan. "No more secrets," she said. "We take the truth to every corner of the galaxy. We tear down the ones who live in the dark." She stood and pointed to the map. "Next stop, Union Black Site Thatney. Place where human traitors were trained, where truth was buried. We burn it to the ground." As the ship turned and entered hyperspace, Kayla stood near the window. Her reflection looked back at her. She was no longer the scared girl who ran through tunnels. On Tarsus-9, she was a storm, a symbol. Shadow turned into fire, and the betrayers would feel everything she had felt, alone, hunted, forgotten. The galaxy was on fire. One by one, the old systems began to fall. Union control cracked. Zarkun fleets lost their power. Colonies once silent now raised Kela's Symbla, broken chain over Earth's flag. She had not asked for war, but war had come anyway. And Kayla Trent was at the center of it, inside the captured dreadnought. The Eye of Zarok, Kayla stood at the war table. Her team surrounded Herdra, Ash, the twins Vorn Rage. More allies had joined from rebel planets. Smugglers, ex-soldiers, outcasts. Each had been forgotten. Each had a reason to fight. "They're coming," Dre said. "Union ships, Raccoon. Ships, they've formed a joint fleet." "2 enemies joining hands to fight one girl," Ash whispered with a grin. "That must feel good." Kayla looked calm, but deep inside, she felt the weight pressing down. She had started a fire. Now it was growing too fast. The enemy fleet gathered near Black Site Thatney, hoping to stop her before she reached it. Kayla knew this would be their biggest battle yet, and maybe her last in the war room. Kayla spoke to her forces through the ship's speakers. "They left us in the dark, made us believe we were alone. But we are not. They called me a ghost, a criminal, a mistake. But I survived. I fought. And now, I'm not the only one.
Ah!
This is not just my fight anymore.
Ah! It's
Ours." Cheers echoed across rebel ships. The battle had begun. Kela's fleet jumped into the sector with perfect timing. Dozens of ships, old and new, came out of hyperspace. The Eye of Zarek led the way. Enemy ships opened fire. Space turned into chaos, flashing lights. Explosions, broken metal. Ash flew her own fighter. Weaving through fire like lightning, the twins jammed enemy signals. Vorn picked off enemy gunners. From a hidden tower, Kayla sat in the command chair. Controlling the dreadnought with the kill code, the Eye of Zarak roared. Its massive cannons tore through enemy lines. Zarkun ships shut down mid-battle as Kayla hacked their cores. Union ships tried to run, but rebel pilots blocked them. They had expected one angry girl, they had found a movement. But victory always comes with a price. Rage's ship was hit, crashed into a Union cruiser to stop it from reaching the command ship. "Tell her, I believed in her," were his last words. The twins were caught in a blast wave. Knox died instantly. Kayla screamed but kept fighting. Even Dre's ship took damage. He was wounded, bleeding, barely alive. Still, Kayla fought. The battle ended after hours of fire and loss. The enemy fleet was broken. Black Sight, That Neen, was in sight. Kayla landed personally, leading a ground team through the base's metal halls. There, she found the truth. Files, videos, hidden records. Proof that the betrayal on Tars S9 was only one of many. Earth leaders had made deals with the Zarkun, for years trading lives for peace. Slaves, soldiers, colonies, all lost in secret deals. Kayla turned on the main console and began broadcasting. "This is Kayla Trent, survivor of Tars S9. If you can hear me, know this. They lied, not just to me, but to all of us. They sold your children. They gave away your homes. They burned your names. But we are not weak. We are still here." The broadcast reached every system. Screen. Every ship. Earth's leaders tried to block it, but it was too late. The people had seen the truth. Kayla returned to her ship. The bridge was quiet. Ash sat with Neela, holding her hand. Dre lay on a stretcher, weak but alive. Kayla looked around. These were not soldiers. They were survivors. But now, they had become something greater. Kayla looked out at the stars. She whispered to herself, "I didn't want a war, but maybe we needed one." The stars were quiet again. After weeks of war, fire, and truth, the galaxy waited. Fleets stopped moving. Leaders stopped speaking. Every screen still echoed Kayla's message, and now, they all wanted one thing, her, Kayla. Trent, once forgotten, now held the galaxy in her hand. But she knew it could not last. People were listening, but the powerful would not let her live freely. The Zarkun, Queen, had spoken her name in rage. The Union Council had placed a death order. Now, both enemies had joined together for one final strike, and Kayla had prepared. For it, she stood on the bridge of the Eye of Zarak, looking out at the black sea of stars. Her hair was tied back, her armor scratched and burned. Simple cloth patch with Earth's flag was still on her shoulder. Behind her, Ash and Dre stepped forward. "They're coming," Ash said. "Two fleets, Zarkun and Union, together." Kayla nodded. "Then we finish it today." Dre looked tired. His side was still bandaged. "We can still run." Kayla turned to him. "No, I don't run anymore." Sent a message her last broadcast. "This is not a cry for help. This is not a call to war. This is my stand. Right here. Right now. If I fall today, let them know I was never quiet. I never forgot, and I was never alone." The enemy fleets arrived near a dying red star. Thousands of ships, millions of weapons. Kayla's fleet was small now. Many had fallen. Others were scattered. But those who remained stood strong, broken, brave, united. The final battle began. The Eye of Zarak fired first. Its massive beams lit up space like fire from a god. Rebel ships followed, fighting with everything they had. Kayla's voice guided them. Strike where they fear. Push where they run. She used the kill code against shutting down Zarkun systems mid-flight. Union ships began to panic, but the enemy was too large. Too strong. One by one, Kayla's ships were destroyed. Neela was lost when her systems failed. Ash's fighter was hit, she ejected, floating in space. Dre stayed on the command ship, bleeding, still fighting beside her, inside the control room. Kayla saw what was coming. The Zarkun, Queen's flagship, had arrived, larger than anything else, shielded, deadly. Kayla knew she had only one choice left. She looked at Gray, get the crew out. Use the escape pods. What about you? He asked. I'm taking this ship. Into their heart. Dre shook his head. You'll die, Kayla smiled. Maybe. But if I live, I'll never stop. And if I die, they'll remember. Why? Dre left, carrying the wounded. Kayla sat in the command chair one last time. She programmed the kill code to overload then. She aimed the Eye of Zarak at the Zarkun Queen's flagship. The engines screamed. The lights turned red. Kayla whispered to herself, for Tar Cisne, for those they silenced, for every forgotten soul. And then she charged. The explosion was seen across 3 systems. The Queen's ship was gone. The battle ended. Silence returned to the stars. No body was found, no escape pod tracked, just whispers. Ain't legends. Some say Kayla died that day. Others say she's still life's moving in shadows. Watching the stars, they call her the ghost of Terra, and her final message remains, passed from rebel to rebel. Never forget. Never forgive. Never be silent.